Alright guys, welcome to Zombie Shooter Demo first person version. In this demo, I'll be showing you how to make a first person shooter with zombies and interactable objects, health and everything. I'm going to actually show you how the game actually works first, and then we're going to delete all the stuff out of here and we're going to start from scratch. Okay? So let's start this really quick and we're going to actually see how this works. Alright, so let's shoot. And kill all the zombies out of here. Kill all these guys. And they're gone. Alright. So basically that's how the game works. This is just a demo. This is not full game. Everything's there. Buttons, health, all that other stuff. This is really simple, really straight to the point, just to get you started and understanding like how Unity works and how a first-person shooter works. It's very simple actually. Once you get into it and actually understand what's going on, you will be able to hit the ground running and you'll be able to actually make your own game. There's no coding that's involved with this. You don't have to code anything. This is just a demo, and I'll give you all the code that you need, everything that you're going to need for this. You'll have access to with the package. So the first thing we're going to want to do, I deleted all the zombies out of there. I'm going to keep the environment, I'm going to keep the canvas, I'm going to keep the first person controller, but I'm going to explain what the first person controller is. In this first person controller we have an empty game object. We start with an empty game object. So if you look here, we'll go here and we'll actually create a game object. What we do is we can name it whatever you want to name it, but thing is we will add a character controller. We'll change its slope limits. We'll change a lot of different stuff to it first before we do anything. Its height and its radius. We'll talk more about height and radius when we get to the actual enemies. The first person controller, which this is actually the code. There's a coded first person controller that Unity uses, and it allows the developers and everyone else who actually develops to use this first person controller. Is very helpful. It's actually very convenient. The version that I'm using, if you look at the top here, I'm actually making PC and Mac and Linux version, and it works very well with that. Now with Android you have to change a few things and make sure everything is working. If you go to File up here, you'll see what I mean. So there's different games that you can create. So when you first install Unity, you can elect to have iOS versions that you can make, Android versions you can make, WebGL, which is you can put that into your website if you want. If you want to make games onto your website, you can do that. tvOS, PS4, Xbox, Facebook. So you have to add all these modules though before you do that. Before you're able to build anything, you're gonna have to add all these modules. So that's not really important right now. We'll talk about that later. We're gonna stick with PC, Mac, and Linux because it's the easiest way to get you started in developing. Alright, that's enough of that. We're gonna go over here and continue with the first person controller. Rigid body is something that is used for all the physics and all the interaction with the actual person. So if you look over here, we have something that's called use gravity. So use gravity means basically it's going to put gravity onto the player. So like if they're in real life, if you jump, you're going to move, and there's acceleration of gravity. For engineers, physicists, anybody who has studied physics, gravity is 9.8 meters per second, right? And I forget what it is in English units, but it doesn't really matter right now. And then kinematic is the movement and everything of the player. There's a lot of other stuff in here, collision detection. You really don't need to know about that right now. I'll have to go deeper into that to actually explain. These constraints allow you to constrain the player to a certain direction. So you can constrain their position as well as their rotation, which for our case we don't want to do that now, but it's actually helpful in certain cases. Then we also have like audio clips. We have different audio clips for different things. So like walking, jumping, when you land back down, there's different audio clips. For instance, here, jump and land. So when we start the game, you can hear the person land their feet onto the ground. Okay, so that is the first-person controller. So what we're going to do first is we're going to start with adding a enemy into the game. So when you have a first-person controller, you have to have something to shoot at, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to add a zombie in here. So what you're going to want to do is go to your project over to the side, and I already have it set up here, so you can actually type in and find your prefabs. So I want the one that says assets, let's try shooter, zombie prefabs, and that is in my prefabs folder. We're going to put the zombie there, and we're going to come back to him in a second. So I want to explain a few more things here. So the project folder over here, if you look at the bottom, that is where all of your assets lie. All the stuff that you're going to use for this game, it's going to be in these folders. So you can set it up however you want to, but I kind of like mine to be clean, like to be organized. So if you see, let's try shooter, it's all underneath one. All the stuff that I'm using for this game, because this game is actually a lot bigger than just the demo that I'm showing you. There's a lot more to it. There's supposed to be health bars. There's going to be touch pads for when you're on mobile, you can move around and shoot. There's a lot of different stuff that goes into this. Also, I have an AR version, so that's something else. But one thing that you're going to want to look at when you're actually working with this environment is all of the different things you're going to need. So if you look at the console, if there's any errors or anything wrong with the code, which you shouldn't have any problems with your code, because this is something that I've already looked at all the bugs and made sure everything is okay. So when you get this, you won't have any bugs. And if you do, just give me a shout, email, any kind of message. Just let me know any way that you can contact me, and I'll give you all that at the end of the video. So, and the last thing is the hierarchy. The hierarchy has everything that's in your scene at the moment. The scene that you're actually working with, FPS Demo PCA, which stands for First Person Shooter Demo Portion Control Apps. So you have everything in there. So Canvas is the actual screen when you're playing the game and all the buttons are there. That's where the buttons sit. The buttons all sit on the canvas. The zombie is the zombie we just put in there. First person controller, as before we talked about, and the environment is the floor. So you have to have some kind of floor so that your person doesn't fall through the sky and they just keep falling and falling. Alright, so back to the game. So when we put him in here, there's a bit of a problem. If you see, he is backwards. So what's going to happen is once I start this game, he's going to start carrying off in the wrong direction. So if you're playing a game, you don't want to shoot him in the back of the head. Like, you want to be able to shoot him like coming towards you and like as if he's attacking. In later videos, I'm going to show you really how to actually have a zombie kind of come after you and try to attack you, and not just, hey, he's walking towards me, let me shoot him. You know what I mean? So this is more of like a demo. Hey, this is just a movable character, and he's animated. So to fix this, rotation is going to be your best friend on a lot of these characters. So if you look at this area here, Y is our vertical axis. Just like if you are doing a graph, X is normally horizontal, Y is normally vertical, and Z is your 3D axis. So what's coming out to you and what's going away from you. So that's what kind of makes everything 3D. So we'll take a look at this for a second, and we're going to take our zombie and we're going to rotate him 180 degrees. So if you remember from geometry, physics, anything like that, you would have to rotate 180 degrees to go a completely opposite direction. So that's what we're going to want to do. So our next step is you can do it in two ways. You can either, if you want more enemies in your game, you can either take the zombie and copy him right away, or you can wait and you can complete the rest of the zombie that you want, everything that you're going to put into him, and then copy all of that over. So that's actually what we're going to do now. So we're going to add a component. First thing we're going to add is its script. So the script means that's the code that makes everything happen. So we're going to type in shootable box. Shootable box holds all the health for the actual player that you're going to be shooting at, and how fast they're going to actually die. So you're going to add that to him, and you're also going to add one more component. This is called a collider. So colliders help you with your code and actually interacting with other objects. So for triggers, if you walk through a doorway and you want something to happen, if you want to hit something and you want it to explode, so many different things that you can do with that. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a capsule collider. Now if you look down here, the capsule collider is all the way down at his feet. Now this is not going to work, because if you're shooting at him, he's not going to die because the capsule collider is only at his feet. Now if you shoot his feet, he can die, but I'm pretty sure like just shooting someone from their feet, they're not going to die immediately, right? So what we're going to want to do is change the position and the height of that capsule. So the first thing we're going to do is change the direction, or actually change the position of that capsule. So the capsule is at 0, 0, right? So at Y, we want our capsule to be at 1. And as you can see, now it's up here, right? Okay, so, and then also we're going to want to change its height. So this will make it longer and actually his whole body. So if you hit him in the leg, or if you hit him in the arm, like that counts, right? So what we're going to do is make that 2. So now it encapsulates his whole body. Now to get that a little more accurate, you can do like 1.8, stuff like that, because that's more of his body, how big his body is, and that'll help. So what we'll do is we'll make sure that all our settings are right. All that stuff is right. We got the 1, we got the height. Our next step is to copy our enemies. So what you can do is go down in your hierarchy here, right click, copy, paste. Now you don't see him in there, right? So he actually is behind this guy. He's right there. And you can do that again. So we're going to do it 2 more times. And we're going to take our zombies, and we're going to move them all. We got another guy behind there somewhere. I don't know where he's at. He's hiding. Ah, there he is. So you can adjust them to, like, say if you want one guy to be kind of, directly pointed, you can try to change that rotation a little bit. I guess you can say 150, right? You'll want to move him a little bit so that he's coming towards you. So we have all our zombies. We have all of our interactions for our environment. So now the game is ready to play. So you can actually push start up here. You see the play button, we'll push that, and once it actually starts up, it's taking a long time. And as you heard that, the landing too. So now, if we shoot them, they die, and they disappear. So that is basically how the game works, and that's actually how you make a first-person shooter game. That's just the very basic, bare bones, hey, we just need to make something work game. There's a lot more to it. There's health, there's not augmented reality, artificial intelligence that we have to use, AI, so that they know how to interact with you. So if you move, they move. If they see you move to another spot, they're going to chase you. Different stuff like that. There's animations. So if you see up here, I already have my animation popped up. But if you don't have your animator in there, you can always add it. So if you go to Windows and you go to Animations, you'll see Animator over to the side. You can actually add that up here. But basically, in your animator, has all the movements of the zombies. You can change it around, add new stuff, change the animations, but it'll pretty much all be in here for you when you get this package. So that is the full game. That is everything that comes with it. This is the full complete demo, and you can actually get this demo. You can contact me, we'll talk about it. You can also reach out to me on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Portion Control Apps. I'll actually have this in the description as well, so you can go straight to websites, to Instagrams, to YouTube, wherever my content will be, you'll be able to see it. So one thing I want to mention as well before we go is one thing that we kind of want to do is also organize a lot of your information and data when you're using this stuff. You want to make sure that you're not like all over the place, and all of this, like everything that's here. You want to make sure that there's some everything is very organized. So when you get to that point, make sure that you're actually developing, you're creating things. You want to make sure that you have a very clean and cut version of how you want to do it. So with that, we are done. We are finished. We have everything we need for the game. Like and subscribe to my videos. Share them with your friends. Let them know. Let me know how I'm doing. Let me know if we need to change something. If you need more information. If I need to go slower. If I need to go faster. Give me information so that I know how to better suit the content for you guys. And with that, we're done, and I'll see you guys back here for the next video.